Thierry de Montbrial, President of the World Policy Conference, thank you very much for being on WPC TV. And congratulations, I think it's been a very, very good 11th edition. But what are your conclusions from the conference?
Well, first I think that in terms of substance, that was a very good conference, and I hope we will continue to have editions better and better in the future. In terms of the international situation, that is both from the political and the economic or even technological viewpoints, the general atmosphere in the world, especially in Europe today, is quite pessimistic, is quite gloomy. And I think it was not the case in this edition of the WPC. I mean that we discussed issues not in terms of optimism or pessimism, that is in purely subjective terms, but we could discuss most of the serious issues of the day in an objective way, dispassionate, sometimes with people having quite different views, but all that in a highly civilized manner. In that sense, I think it was very positive.
It seems to me that a lot of the discussions were about Donald Trump. I mean, we are now in the era of Donald Trump. What do you think is the impact of the Trump presidency, both now and in the future?
You mean in terms of my own
well, your
judgment?
view of this.
Well, in fact, in the very long panel that we had on this issue was, I think, quite balanced, and that's good because it was not in terms of, you know, the devil, this kind of extreme 0 or 1 opinions. My own view is that one has to distinguish between the short term and the medium or even the long term. I think that in the short term, Trump may have made some points because he is using in a logic of a pure balance of power, and of course this works when you are very, very strong and that all the others are weak. You cannot but win something, you know. But they're much more concerned, but it's not necessarily tragic because I mean, in the short term, what is winning is lost to some extent by the others, but it is not the end of the world. But I think, from a longer term perspective, the situation is much more serious because even if Trump is not re-elected, or even if he's re-elected and after 6 more years somebody else comes in office, this way of behavior, that is the blunt use of force, will have long-term consequences because nobody will forget. And there is another aspect which is more short to medium term, which is the fact of being constantly in the language of insults, vulgarity, and this, I think, is very serious indeed. MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, is a child of Trump. No, he's a child of Trump not only because he supported him when he visited his famous trip to Saudi Arabia, but I'm pretty convinced that without the style of Trump, MBS would probably have behaved in a different manner.
Thierry de Montbrial, that's a very, very pertinent way to end. Thank you very much indeed, and
Thanks
congratulations once again. Thank you.
Thank you.